So this is my kind of Bonefides video. We were going to try and get clever with this, but I'm running out of time and I want to get this done before we leave for tour. So this is kind of my quick history for me. I'm a lifelong artist. I've been doing this, I'm a lifelong artist. I've been doing this my whole life. So I started showing in galleries at 16. I was in college art classes around the same time. When I left high school, I went to the Corcoran School of Art in D.C. With a focus on fine arts painting. And I did all the other stuff, photography and all those things that go along with that. So that was early 90s. Around that time, I started DJing and have been spinning in clubs. I was spinning in clubs before I was old enough to get into the clubs. Let's see, what else? I started my first band back then called Basement, which was kind of a loud, progressive metal sort of thing. I can't say we were particularly good, but I learned a lot of stuff not to do, so that was cool. It's just a good introduction to how everything worked. It's also crazy to me that we spent $5,000 to record a 6-song demo and put out 500 cassettes. And, now, all you really have to do to put something together like that is just, get a decent machine and do some work, learn how to do it. Let's see. So what else? Oddly enough, my art was pulled out of a show at Corcoran and put up in Bill Clinton's inaugural ball. So that was kind of just a weird thing that happened. Then I was a bike courier in DC for a bunch of years, still doing the art thing, obviously. Moved to Baltimore, did some role-playing game covers, did some art shows. In 97, 96, 97, I met my wife, Donna, to be Donna. She was the hot chick working at the local punk club, and I was the DJ guy at the local goth club, so it was kind of inevitable that we would end up dating. But the fact that we ended up getting married, and here we are 27 years later, is pretty cool. We pretty much started working on music immediately. She went to school for piano and opera from Go as well, so she's also a lifer for all of this. We had another band for a while that just didn't work out for various reasons, so we just decided to do it ourselves. So I got some money and got some gear and it turned into that whole fucking thing back there. And here we are. We started out as kind of this weird industrial trip-hop project and then kind of turned into all kinds of other stuff. Whilst all that was going on, we ended up being 2/3 of owners of a $1 million art gallery in Baltimore called Angel Falls Studios. That was absolutely beautiful and was pretty much destined to fail from the beginning. But again, we learned a lot, and it helped it kind of gave us a starting point for a lot of the stuff that we do now. So that was cool. At the time, it was certainly very, very, very difficult. But we did do some very cool stuff. Like we probably showed in a year and a half that we were open, we probably showed 300 artists. We were doing art shows every 3 weeks, and we'd have 6 or 7 artists per show, and Donna and I curated the whole thing and set it all up. I was the artist in residence there, which was cool, so I was always able to have my stuff there. Around this time, this was early 2000s, we started another project called the Trinity Project, which was kind of trying to take a lot of the ideas of experimental music and give them more rules and more structure. And we did a decent number of shows with that. And if you go up to to my personal record labels site on Bandcamp, Wolfcore Records, wolfcore-records.bandcamp.com, there's the 2 full-lengths we did, and then the live record we did of that stuff. And so that's all instrumental, and then a lot of spoken word and things like that. It was a very, very cool project. I also started a thing I do called Hopeful Machines, which is really it's whatever I want it to be at any given time. I mean, I've done like 50 records of this stuff, and it's just changes. And you'll often, if you go back and you listen to it, you can hear kind of like some of the proto ideas of some of the other stuff. Like you can hear on there's a record I did called "On the Mending of Pack," and you can kind of hear the beginnings of Stoneburner starting to happen, or A Shadow the Size of Everything. You can hear the beginnings of like Ocellus. So it's just kind of a good place for me trying to do, whatever makes the most sense. And we did a ton of touring back then, and we still do, but that's kind of when we really started. We were out 3, 4, 5 months out of the year. Donna got her book deal, and then my book deal with Raw Dog Screaming Press for her first couple of novels. I put out a children's book called Luna Maris, which is still in print, and it's a pretty cool little book about the moon comes out of the sky and turns into a boat to visit the ocean to learn about it. It's also probably the only children's book with a coelacanth in it, so that's something. What else? At some point in that time period, I started working with Weird Tales magazine. I became their kind of a artist, just a regular artist for about 6 or 7 issues, and then unfortunately it ended up getting bought by somebody else and kind of blew the whole thing up. So that was really a shame, because that particular incarnation of Weird Tales was very, very cool. And then around 2010, I started up a solo project called Stoneburner. At the time was answering the question for me of what dance music on Arrakis sounded like, and I did 6 full-length records and a bunch of EPs and touring and stuff like that for that project, that version of the project. And it did pretty well in the belly dance circles and the people who enjoy that sort of thing. Sometime in there I was contacted by NASA to score a video, I don't know the best thing to call it, but basically it was a digital press release or something. It was for a mission called Osiris Rex, and so what we were doing was we were launching Osiris Rex up to land on an asteroid called Bennu, take samples of it, and bring it back. And here now in 2025, I guess it came back about a year ago, so that's pretty cool. And so the music that I did, along with this guy Jason Miller, who did all the spoken word, but the dialogue for it, who used to be in a band called Godhead. Ironically enough, he and I have known each other since we were about 16. Never worked together face to face, but we did this thing, so that's cool. So anyway, yeah, my music was in this video that's basically explained that to the world, and so it has been seen millions and millions and millions of times by people. It was also included on a USB drive that went up on Osiris Rex and came back. So that's kind of neat. I wrote music that went to space. So that was, and you can find that if you just look up Stephen Archer, Osiris Rex, or Bennu's Journey, I think was the name of the video. So you can find that pretty easily. And you can actually even do whatever you want with it. If you want to do something with the music, go for it. It's all public domain now because, NASA, national. So we already paid for it. Let's see. At some point after that, I was working on the next Stoneburner record after 6 ones in, and kind of just was over the whole thing. Like I was like, I could write something, and the people that like it would still like it, but it would bore the shit out of me. So I decided to finally turn it into the industrial band I've been promising myself that I would do since I was 16, which became a record called Technology Implies Belligerence. So that was one of the first where I was really focusing on me singing and just kind of doing the whole thing. And it is very influenced by Peter Watts's fantastic book Blind Sight. And I interviewed him for this thing. And since then, it has grown and developed in all kinds of ways. I think it's a very think it's a very cool way of doing music for the industrial genre that's not focused necessarily, and you can dance to it maybe if you want to, but it's not really focused on that, and it's not really focused on. It's. I try and actually talk about relatively real things, particularly with the newer material. I've got a new record coming out this year called Post-Industrial Occult. I think it's a very kind of industrial music for grown-ass adults. You know, it's not about the robot uprising or catching the man or whatever it is. So that was going on. I put out, right during COVID, I put out a illustrated version of Masque of the Red Death by Edgar Allan Poe. And just because I get interested, I listen to a lot of books, audiobooks anyway, and just because I'm always interested in kind of pushing different ways of doing things, I thought it'd be kind of cool to do an audiobook version of it, but with score it, and try and do a real atmospheric audio. And I ran across this guy while listening to another audio book, and I was like, that's the voice, that's the person I want. And so because we live in the future, I jumped on Twitter at the time and wrote the guy without really knowing anything about him other than, hey, your voice is really cool. And he was into it. He had a music background anyway, this guy named Stefan Rudnicki. Little did I know he was actually like a 2-time Grammy winner, and was part of Audible's board and all kinds of other different things that he has done over the years. Quite an amazing person to go with the voice. We then did another audiobook, same style, called Beyond Carcosa. It was, again, just a very, very cool project, and hopefully we will end up doing something more in the future. At some point after that, and, during all of this, more Stoneburner and ego likeness materials coming out and all that, and touring and shows. Through a strangely circuitous route, I ended up getting contacted by the people who were, I guess, handle whatever, Alan Parsons. And so I ended up directing and animating a music video for them called Ouroboros with Tommy Shaw singing, which was pretty cool because growing up, Styx and Alan Parsons, when I was 8, 9, 10, a kid, they were some of my favorite artists. So, it's nice being able to kind of check those off the list, at least, having had a chance to work with them in some way. So that's pretty fucking cool. You can find that online if you just look up YouTube or Boris Alan Parsons. In the time since then, I've been, again, putting out a bunch of Stoneburner, some Hopeful Machine stuff. At one point, I did a Stoneburner record called Red in Tooth and Claw. That was a concept album about this giant kind of kaiju wolf, and he goes through just a really horrible experience, which makes him kind of lose his mind and go off and start kind of really destroying a good chunk of the United States. So I put the record out, but it still lives kind of in the back of my head, and so eventually I was like, I should actually just do this as an audio, or not, as a graphic novel, which I did. It ended up being quite a big thing. So it's a pretty involved book. Couple hundred pages. And it's a kind of a kaiju love story. I think it's, as an artist, you're always looking for the thing that kind of sums up how you see the world. And Red in Tooth and Claw, I think, does a pretty good job of that. And I think it's a good story, and the art's solid. So yeah, it was just kind of neat being able to realize that vision and that story. So lately, I've been putting stuff out under my own name. I call it a solo project, but like everything I do is kind of a solo project, right? So, but this is me, and I don't know what to call it. We were actually just talking about this the other day. Donna and I were in the van listening to it, and And she was like, "It's great. I don't know what to call it, what style of music it is." And yeah, I mean, I don't either. It's got big production, big atmosphere, kind of swans-esque with some kind of fetus-esque keyboards, and but my voice tends to be very Roger Waters or Peter Gabriel. And then I do a lot of glitchy stuff, which also kind of takes it into that sort of MC 900 Foot Jesus world. I think it's really cool. I feel like it's very real and very emotional. A lot of it is kind of stories in song form, but yeah, I mean it's something I'm very proud of, and so you can find that at stevenarcher.bandcamp.com. And there's lots of like videos and stuff online too on the Ego Likeness YouTube page. One of the other things I'm currently working on, it's not out yet, but I'm putting out a book of poetry and prose, so that's a new thing for me also, and it's coming together pretty good. It's called If This Wound is a Word, Then This Corpse is a Book, and I would imagine it will be out on Raw Dog Screaming Press. We're in the middle of the editing portion. They know about it, so I just kind of have to hand it off to them at some point. I just don't know when it'll be out. I currently am in the middle of getting the new Stoneburner record, Post-Industrial Occult, out the door, and that should be out September, I believe, on Cop International. You can find Ego Likeness on Metropolis Records, Stoneburner's on Cop. All of my own personal stuff is on Wolfcore Records, Wolfcore-Records, Bandcamp.com. So you can find Trinity, Hopeful Machines, Queen Neon, which is kind of my take on, I don't know what you want to call it, synthwave maybe, whatever, and soundtracky sort of stuff. And I have another kind of weird abstract industrial metal band called Ocellus, which is there's one record up there currently. I'll have a second one once it's finished being mastered. So yeah, you can find us. You can look and find me on Patreon. It's us, obviously, but yes, just look Steven Archer Patreon, and there's a whole bunch of like stuff that's already there. We don't put stuff up there all the time, but there's already, I mean, there's a lot there to begin with, and so you can always find our store, which is egolikeness.bigcartel.com. What else? You can find Ego Likeness on Bandcamp, Ego Likeness. Just egolikeness.com or egolikenessbandcamp.com, stoneburnerofficial.bandcamp.com. You can find the Ego Likeness website, egolikenessband.com. There's always Donna's writing, which is, both of us are available on Amazon. She's easier to find than I am for some reason. But she's an amazing writer. Right now is focusing on a lot of poetry and the like, although she does have a couple of novels up there as well. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of it. Those are my bona fides. And that stuff back there I use for live broadcasts. And if you go to our YouTube page or track me down on Facebook, there's just a ton of me just riffing with that stuff live in real time, recording it, throwing it out into the world. So yeah, that's our thing. This is all we do, and we're just trying to survive as artists. More success than some, less success than many others. So you can always reach us, egolikeness@gmail.com, or you can track us down on Facebook or wherever. I think Donna's on Blue Sky under our names. She takes care of all that stuff. And we're always on tour in some form or another, or working towards being on tour in some form or another. I mentioned this on the commercials. I'm always available for art lessons, remixing, production work, that kind of thing. So, yeah, if there's anything I can do for you, please just let me know. hopefully, I really hope that these videos are enjoyable and at least interesting, if nothing else. So, as always, thank you for giving a shit. And, I'm already planning season 2 of this, so we'll just see how that goes. Thank you.
I'm not dangerous 'cause I'm locked up. I'm locked up because I'm dangerous. I'm best kept hidden away in that place of honor inside your head, next to the vault of all the things you wish you'd never said. If it's part of my character, then it can't be a character flaw. And if it's not a flaw, it's axiomatic that everyone else is wrong. Everyone is toxic to the ones we love. So it is always him. Every one of us poisons our own well. So we should just dive in and swim. Just like the rest of you, I'm an expert in the moral calculus of balancing truth. How much horror can I let out before the sensitive find me uncouth? How do I acquire desired objects or information to grease the wheels of this world of open wounds? Broadcast or reveal. Your mothers forgot to say that shining sword of truth. It always cuts both ways. When the needle hits that 45, your dancing shoes slide across the wood. To hear what that song really is, you're gonna have to turn it on its head. Only the young die good. Because you cannot
The Milky Way, home to billions of stars, rising and setting over billions of worlds, including our own. In this vast expanse, how did our sun, the Earth, and the planets come to be? In recent decades, our understanding of the solar system's evolution has greatly improved, but deep questions remain. To answer those questions, astronomers are preparing to visit someplace very small. Asteroid Bennu. A lump of rock and organic material, the early building blocks of the solar system, of Earth, of us. Bennu is a time capsule, and its journey takes us way, way back, 4.5 billion years. The raw ingredients of Bennu and our solar system originated in a stellar nursery, a vast cloud of hydrogen, helium, and dust. Our own sun doesn't yet exist. Nearby are hot stars like this one, quickly burning up its fuel and destroying itself in a colossal explosion called a supernova. The explosion destabilizes our cloud, causing it to collapse. In the geologic blink of an eye, 100,000 years, gravity and angular momentum flatten the cloud into a swirling disk. In the center, where molecules crash together tightest, a protostar revs up to incredible pressures and temperatures. Deep within the disk, clumps of dust not much larger than a grain of wheat are flash heated into droplets of molten rock, called chondrules. The source of this heat remains a mystery. Chondrules are destined to become the building blocks of the solar system. Coaxed by gravity and turbulence, the chondrules clump. They grow into the first asteroids, into mountains, into planets. The asteroids are rubble piles of rock, metal, ice, and organics. This large asteroid is the parent body of Bennu, a protoplanet whose size we can only guess. Closer to the protostar, a planet begins to form. And then, dawn in the solar system. The protostar undergoes fusion and ignites, revealing our sun. But the solar system is far from finished. Jupiter most likely forms near its outer edge, but just 500 million years after the sun ignites, some believe that it slowly moves inward. Its massive gravity ripples the asteroid belt, disrupting countless asteroids and comets, flinging them toward the sun. They rain down on the inner planets, hammering and remelting large portions of their crust. Did these impacts also deliver organics and water, key ingredients for life? Back in the asteroid belt, Bennu's parent body is lucky. It survives this period of heavy bombardment. The solar system cools and calms. Jupiter and its many moons assume the orbits that we see today. Billions of years of quiet follow, more or less. Then 1 billion years ago, one theory suggests a collision shatters the protoplanet. Some of the debris loosely coalesces into a new, smaller body, Bennu. But Bennu will not stay in place. Dull, non-reflective, it slowly migrates toward the sun. Solar heating turns its warm side into a low-intensity thruster. Through millions of years, Bennu's orbit gradually tightens until it interacts with Saturn's gravity, altering its trajectory and hurling it into the inner solar system. Close encounters with Earth and Venus follow. Their gravitational tugs may have repeatedly stretched and reformed Bennu, turning it inside out and pulling off loose material. As a result, it has no satellites of its own. Until now. Today, NASA is sending a spacecraft called OSIRIS-REx to explore Bennu and retrieve a sample. Why? Bennu has survived its long journey and settled into a near-Earth orbit, bringing its secrets within our reach. Now it is ready to teach us more about the solar system's history, its formation, its evolution, and our own place among the stars.